Welcome to the Other Sea podcast. Today we'll talk about the Forest away game, which is happening on Saturday afternoon, actually early evening. Andrew, I don't know about you, but I actually think that this is turning into a really, really interesting and fun close to the season for us, considering where we've been for most of the league, well, most of the season, how it's looked, how it's felt. I mean, we are seventh. We are seventh. Um, which we've been trying to get to for ages. The teams around us all fighting for Europa League or Europa Conference. It's only a couple points in it. All three teams have to play Brighton by end of the season. And on top of that, if everything went our way, there's a chance we could even get fifth. But I think that's very unlikely with Spurs having to drop an awful lot of points. What are your thoughts just quickly on the end of the season, like where we are at the moment and what we could potentially achieve? And does that count as a successful season if we get Europa League?
No,
It doesn't count as a successful season.
no.
Oh mate, that's harsh. I mean, I disagree. I think it is. Go on, go for it. Explain.
At the start of the season, people were touting us as outsiders for the Premier League on the basis that we weren't playing in Europe. Therefore, if Villa make it into the Champions League and Chelsea in the Europa League, at the start of any season, in my living memory, if you told me that, I wouldn't say that that was a successful season for Chelsea. I get with the faults that we've had this season, the injuries, it's it's a good achievement for the absolute catastrophe we've been involved in for the entire season. But if at the beginning of the season you said, "Oh, we're going to go for Europa League," I wouldn't have I wouldn't have been like, "Oh yeah, that's good. That's a good season."
No, don't get me wrong. I can understand the Villa comment. However, what I will say with Villa is they have been together a lot longer compared to us. Um, you'd be expecting maybe a United or a Spurs maybe going for the fourth, and we maybe fall short. But with this brand new team, I wouldn't have been upset if you went, yeah, gonna get Europa League with a brand new team and a brand new manager.
I expected better. I wanted more. I
Oh,
expected better at the
we
start of the
all
season.
expected better. Like I'm not saying that. I just think it's a miracle that we're actually in this position.
Well, you say that now, but pre-season when Jackson was firing goals and Kunku looked spectacular, I was on cloud nine. And I'm pretty sure you were pretty excited for the season and thought, oh, we could do something here.
Yeah, I was, but we also did say at the time, do you know what? We're running teams off the park more than anything else. Our fitness levels were ahead of a lot of teams.
True. But it's my opinion. I've
Fair?
got
And
opinions.
you are entitled to it. I asked the
Um,
question.
in terms of where we're going to finish, and am I excited about? I've given up being excited this season. Every time I've started to feel like we've turned it round, I've I've been bitterly disappointed. So now it's just pessimism. And if by some miracle we pull out another 5-0 like we did against West Ham, it was 5-0, wasn't
It
it?
was West Ham 5-0. Yeah.
Um, or we have won a few games recently. If we pull that out, great. I'll be over the moon. But if we don't and it's a 1-1 draw, fine. Um, I'm looking towards next season at this point already. So for me, it's now just building momentum going into next season. And this season's a bit of a write off because even if we get into Europe, it will probably be Europa Conference League, which doesn't really help us on an FFP basis.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm hoping Europa League. I am hoping on the Europa League side of things, not conference.
Yeah, I'm still not exactly convinced by our away form. Home form has been very good since Christmas, but our away form has been still quite spotty. Obviously, Nottingham Forest is an away game, so and they beat us at our place. So,
Yeah, I won't lie. I did re-watch the highlights today just to see. And then to be fair, it's a game. It's one of those games that we should have won.
oh yeah,
We should have.
in
We
that
should
run
have
of
won that game.
we're all over them, can't score a
Yeah.
chance, and they score from a set piece, and it's like great. Or was it counter attack?
No, it's counter attack.
It's one of the. It's only those two options. Um, for the start of the season. So yeah, I'm trying not to get my hopes. I mean, I will be predicting a win because I do think we should be winning the game, and I hope that we do. But if it doesn't happen, I haven't got my hopes up too much.
Fair. Well, moving on to Saturday's away game to Forest. Better news on the injury front. We have, I think it's 9 players injured at the moment. So that is Fofana, Lavia, Enzo, Ugo James, Chilwell, Chukwuemeka, and Sanchez. However, James could be making an appearance. Well, he could be fit to play on Saturday. This isn't from the official website. It's a bit too early for that one, but this is just from some of the websites that are also similar things.
Wouldn't bother. What's the point?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't play him. No, there's no point. I mean, I'm glad Gusto's back, but actually, at the moment, with the way that we've been playing recently, not to give it away too much, but I don't really see the point in messing around with the side too much. The only thing that I will say is that I saw the president of Fluminense speaking, and he was saying that he was implying that maybe we've already let Silva finish and go. Because he said, oh, they let him go early, they let him wear the shirt because he's been in Brazil, I think, or he's at least worn, him and his family have worn the Fluminense football shirts to signify that he will be going back to his boyhood club of Fluminense. Um, but as far as I'm aware, I've not seen anything official saying that he's now gone to them early and he's going to miss the remaining games of the season. So I presume he's still available. But that threw me off a little bit, I won't lie.
I'd be
Uh,
surprised if he'd done that, but
yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have had the proper send off he deserves, if I'm brutally
yeah,
honest. Um, with
bizarre.
that, like I said, James is potentially available to play. So that means Colwell's now back and Cuckoo's now back. Gusto's now back. Sterling is now back. And also, while we talk about injuries, I sent this to you earlier on in the day. We've already had a little conversation about it off air. But they released the Premier League injury table this week, which shows clubs with highest number of Premier League games missed through injury. Chelsea were number one, which I wasn't surprised at, and I was really happy to hear that because I'm sick to death of hearing Man United phoning into TalkSport or Man United fans complaining about how they've had the most amount of injuries this season, and no one else has. And I was like, not sure about that actually. So we have had 54 injuries this season, which gave us a total of 309 games missed.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it's that low. If I'm entirely honest.
Well, what
Um,
makes it worse is the second one is Newcastle, and their total number of injuries were 38, and their games missed was 258, followed closely by Brentford with 21 and then 255 games. I mean, we have literally blown it out of the water in terms of the injuries and what it's done to us. So it's clearly
yeah,
something we've got to get sorted for next
but
season.
the thing you're forgetting, Matthew, is that we spent £1 billion on transfers, and therefore injuries don't mean anything because apparently we have 54 players in our squad, so we can afford to have constantly at least 9 players injured. We don't have a similar size squad to everyone else per the Premier League rules, and therefore we can afford to have double the amount of injuries that everyone else has. And then the commentators go on and on and on about how many injuries Aston Villa have at the minute and how many injuries Newcastle have at the minute, while then turning around and going, Chelsea spent £1 billion, so it doesn't matter. So that's the point that you're forgetting.
Well, absolutely. And it's the same with the Man United fans talking about like, oh, I didn't know anyone on the bench. I'm like, we've had that for half the season. I'm brutally honest. Um, but moving forward with Saturday's game, I mean, you sound very positive about it. So what would you like to see from the game?
Oh, just exactly what happened against West Ham. Like exactly. Maybe with less of the other team hitting the crossbar, but other than that, I'd like 5 goals from us. None scored by them, not even really being that worried about it. That would be ideal. That would be my pick.
Fair, fair. Sneaky look into your score prediction there, I think. Um, yeah, I mean, I have to admit, the last couple of games that we played, we played really well. Um, so I am hoping for much the same. I think the midfield balance is working a lot better at the moment with Cucurella and Caicedo, or even if Gallagher's there. But with Cucurella there, it definitely gives us an extra man up top. Yes, we lose a little bit of an overlap on the left, but we're better on the right anyway. And I do feel like this is a game that we should win, and I'm not being funny. I'd actually like to see Nottingham Forest get relegated. So here's to a win.
Yeah, tell you what, fucking Yates can do one.
Exactly. I was waiting for that.
I can
Yeah,
get
he
fucking
can. I can't
relegated.
stand him.
Dick.
I can't stand him. He's one of those
Just
players that
kicking
just
me
doesn't
piss
shut
out. I
up.
can't take it.
That is awful. He just does not know when to shut up. With that, do you want to go into starting 11s, mate?
Yeah, I mean, mine's incredibly boring.
Cool. Go on then.
Mine's exactly what the starting 11 was against West Ham because I don't think Nkunku's going to be fit enough to start, and I don't want Sterling playing.
So you have to run me by that because do you know what? I
But I
honestly don't
don't
know
think
how many.
Gusto's fit enough to start either. So yeah, it'll be Trev, it'll be Thiago Silva,
Remember
Bal-
the defense, Badiashile.
You do remember the defence, isn't it,
I
man?
remember the defense. Yeah, it's the midfield attack systems. I remember what team played. Whether is it the team that played or is it the team that you said should play?
I think it's the same thing. I don't think
Okay,
I changed it at all.
there he is, player of the season. Oh no, he's in the middle. Not that it's much of a surprise that he was player of the season, men's player of the season for Chelsea.
Well, he voted for Malagusto, which I think was the best choice he could have done. You don't really like it. Him
He
select.
voted for Malagusto.
Yeah, he voted for Malagusto for his
A
players.
hundred percent. It 100%. I think
If it wasn't him, then it should have been Malo, right? So
yeah, but it's also hard to give I think it's hard to give a defender a player of the season because obviously you're always going to be looking at assists and goals more than anything else. But I think Gusto's been brilliant for us this season. And you're right. If it wasn't Palmer, it should absolutely have been Gusto. He's by far been our next best player and the best signing. Maybe Gallagher after that, but
focus, Jackson.
yeah, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love to see Cole play. I'd love to see
I,
Gusto
I
play
agree with you. I mean,
start 11,
I'm in
but
100% agreement with you. I've been thinking about it all day. I'm not changing a thing. Why break something that's worked?
yeah,
It's nice to have more options on the
and,
bench if we need them.
yeah, and why risk them? But why risk players
Exactly,
coming back?
exactly that.
Give them 20 minutes maybe at the end, but it's pointless.
It's nice. It's nice to have Nkuku to come back off the bench again. Cole can get some minutes again if we need to. No offense to the youngsters, but it kind of settles the mind knowing you've got some senior players there. Um, but I wouldn't change what's already been working. You know what I mean? It's just like don't tempt fate when we're so close.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would take Mudryk out. I don't think he's been very good even during this
No, that would be the one.
period.
That would be
But
the one person. I agree.
I wouldn't
That
bring
would be the
anyone
one
else.
person.
I definitely wouldn't put Sterling in instead of him. It's just the
No,
leading the blind in that one.
no. I mean, there is. But as we said before, the only way around this is you would put Cassadai in the middle. You move Gallagher up to the top as a 10, and you put Palmer on the right, and you put Madueke on the left.
Mm.
That's the only difference. That's the only thing I can actually see anyone be able to do, because even if you want to play Chilwell as a left wing, he can't. He's still injured, and we don't even know when he's going to be fit. So that's it really,
Yeah,
and it's worked. So I think we should go with that. So that's nice and easy. Look at us.
smashing it. We finally, after all of this time, managed to get to a point of a starting 11, a regular starting 11. Admittedly, it took basically everyone else being injured,
A
but
shit ton
we
of
got there.
combinations.
We got there.
We did. We did indeed. Go on then. Your score prediction.
I mean, I'm hoping for a 5-0, but realistically, I'm going to go for a 2-0. Um, and it's going to be Malo Gusto because if anyone deserves to get a goal, it's Malo Gusto. And it's going to be Connor.
So you're saying Gusto off the bench?
Yeah, it's a good point. Well made. I think you've been doing it all season and
Yeah,
haven't
but I
scored
deliberately
yet. But
say so and so off the bench.
yeah, I mean, they know. I think you're underestimating our listeners now. I think they're fully aware of the team that I've just picked. They're
Of
fully
course.
engaged and they've just listened.
Yeah.
So they know I mean off the bench.
Right. I'm gonna go 3-1. And the only reason that I'm saying that is because I feel a little bit worried about set pieces. I feel like Forest have got some tall players. I feel like they could do something at set piece from a corner. So that's why I put the one in. Uh Goal scoring wise, um yeah, I'm gonna say Connor as well. I'm gonna say Jackson because I want to see Jackson get a goal against Forest because he should have had a hat trick, if not two, in the home game.
Two hat
And
tricks.
huh?
You had two hat tricks.
No, I meant 2 goals. Sorry. No, I meant 2 goals. Sorry. Um, and I'm gonna say Nkuku off the bench because I want him to finish the season
I
on a bit of.
fucking knew that was coming.
Well, he's
Well,
got.
you're rattling on about Nkunku off the bench. I fucking knew Nkunku goal off the bench was coming in the like who's going to score. You're a broken record, you are
I want him to do well. What can I say?
clearly.
So yeah. Well, like you said, positivity going into next season. So happy days. Anything else you'd like to add for this episode?
No.
Lovely stuff. Right. Well, with that being said, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, follow, and leave your comments below. And stay tuned for the post game analysis later on the weekend. Thank you for watching.